watch, and then I'll do a little intro. I'll just let you lead the way. Go for it. Let's see what people say. No one's watching. Hey guys, welcome to Saints TV. Round 14 preview is here, and we've got some big news in terms of ins for the Saints. We've got Dan Hanbury to make his St Kilda debut, and Jake Carlisle is back from a back injury, which is a bit of a surprise for everyone, including this Brisbane line here. Murray, who's joining it, we're going to the game together, and we haven't been able to do that for pretty much our whole friendship.
No, we've been waiting for a long time.
Yeah.
There's a bit of mutual panic on both of our behalves, I think, going into this game.
Yeah, we've talked about it pretty much all week, and actually for probably the last month. Each time we see each other, we're kind of just like, friendship's going to be okay. No matter what the result is, we'll be fine, and I think it'll be okay. I mean, I've already prepped myself for if Brisbane kick a good goal or Neil has a good clearance, I might feel like, oh, that was good. But I say that now, but I feel like I'm not going to do it when we actually get to the game.
I've readied myself for the fact that we'll probably lose.
That's a big call. You weren't like this before we went.
I wasn't.
He's being good. He's being kind because he's on Saints TV. And He doesn't want to get you guys on his back. But let's talk about it. Who have Brisbane brought into the team, and what do you think?
So we've got the big in for me is Oscar McInerney. Archie Smith goes out for him. Smith and Martin, to be fair, were poor in the ruck against Carlton, so that's good for us. Alan Christensen comes in, and Ryan Lester comes in, and Robertson's the out, and Taylor's the other out.
What do you think? Does that make you a stronger team than the team that played Carlton before the bye, or is it about the same?
I think it's a little bit stronger just because I think McInerney gives us some scoring power up forward, and the other two are kind of neither here nor there. But I mean, Leicester's clanger prone, Robertson's clanger prone.
Is Lester mid?
He normally plays back. He's a bit of a utility. He has played up forward in his time. But Taylor has been okay at times, but his sort of defensive side hasn't always been good. So
he wasn't bad against Carlton when I saw him, but he wasn't.
No,
he wasn't amazing.
No, there's been games where he's got one tackle and 19 disposals, and it's just his defensive side. It's not great. Christensen's okay. He's slowed down a bit, so a little bit concerned about that. But
And our ends, I guess. Let's
go through this.
Dan Hanbury. It's been a long time. We drafted him. Well, we got him last year. We're paying a lot of money for him. Everyone's talked about his recent form, I guess, again, for Sydney in the last couple of years, and how he hasn't really replicated that 2015 form where I think he won the MVP for the AFL, and he finished second or third in the Brownlow. So that was his best ever season.
Three-time All-Australian,
premiership player, 28 years old. He's played two games for Sandringham, and he's been over 24 possessions in both. He's played well, a lot of tackles, a lot of marks. So he's not just getting a lot of the ball, he's actually doing something with it, in and out. And then the other in is Jake Carlisle, who at his best is top 10 centre-half backs in the league by easily, I think. In terms of his marking, in terms of his kicking, he's able to go forward. He can play a bit in the ruck. I mean, his only downside is he's slow as shit. So if you get Christensen or someone around him and he's isolated, it could be a problem.
Is Carlisle slow?
He's a little slow. Okay. I think he's a little slow. I mean, from what I've seen when he's played, but I mean, he could have conjured up some speed over the off-season.
Because you think like the benefit of Carlisle over Brown would be his ability to play.
No doubt he's faster than Brown. Yeah, no doubt he's a bit more mobile than Brown. I think most of our backmen would be.
Yep.
And I see that's why Brown's come out. There's no room for him in this team.
Yep.
How many talls are you guys playing? You've got Hipwood,
McStay, and Bigger.
So you'll have most of the time you'll have two.
Yep.
And then when he rests, you'll have three.
Yep.
Yeah. Whereas I think having Brown, Battle, Carlisle, Wilkie as well, we might be a bit too top heavy.
So at the moment you've got Battle on Hipwood, just as the named teams.
Yeah.
Battle's mobile. He's good, but
good.
he's undersized for Hipwood.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of whether Hipwood can use that advantage.
The good thing is that Battle is a forward. Oh, he was a forward. So he knows how to read these runs more than a lot of defenders do. That Hipwood's probably faced. So I see that as being a benefit for us. But yeah, Hipwood's been in good form pretty much all season, apart from late. He wasn't great against Carlton in his recent game, but neither was most of the team in the second half.
No, he's been inconsistent. He's kicked poorly. He kicked 6 against Port, looked really good. In between then and now, he sort of hasn't looked that great, but he's done well at, I guess, just being an option. And just hitting up the leads, and structure-wise, he's been good. So we'll see how he goes.
Midfield battle is going to be interesting. Now with Hanbury back.
Yeah.
With Lachie Neale being one of the Brownlow favourites. He's by far your best player, by far top 2, top 3 mids in the game at the moment. Possessions-wise, in terms of metres gained, he's very good. He does everything that you want. What do you think? Do you think you guys have the edge in the midfield battle? Do you think...
I think if we lose, it's because we've lost the midfielders. It's because we've lost the clearances. So I think if you look at our stats over the year, we're right up the top, sort of 4 or 5. Last time I checked in centre clearances. So that's how we've been scoring a lot of goals as well.
Clearances,
When we've lost badly, it's been against Essendon and Carlton, and we've just been smashed in that area. I remember watching up in the stands, and you'd really notice that the opposition are just set up on the defensive side of the tap. If we get the tap, we're running into them.
And
they just get an easy...
When the mistake happens, the ball fumbles out, and they're on the outside.
So it'll be interesting.
Do you think you're very much an inside team, and that if we can get a bit more outside run, get the clearances, but then spread, that's where we can get you? So I think Carlton did that pretty well with Cripps.
I reckon we'd have
far back, or do you think you're faster?
I reckon we'd have the better of the outside if we...
So we've brought it. Who have we got playing? We've got we've got Robbie Young's not playing anymore, but Matty Parker's in. There are some speedy guys. Nick Hine, who debuted last week and had a really good game. There's some speed there. We're not generally slow, but we're not aloof pace. We're not Essendon when it comes to that sort of speed.
I think we've got a bit of pace in the midfield and up forward. We're slow off. We've always been slow off the halfback for a while now. So having Bailey out with the hamstring for a while has hurt us.
But then you've got Rich, who doesn't even need to. He doesn't need to run. He just carries the ball by his kick.
Hodge is slow. Ainsworth is quick, and he's been good for us. So we'll see how we go with that.
Forward line. Let's look at the forward lines. This is always a bit interesting because I think that on paper, I think we've got a pretty good forward line. I mean, when they're all playing well, and when you look at it, you've got Josh Bruce who's kicked 50 goals in a season. You've got Tim Membry who's been close to that pretty much his whole career for us. Matty Parker's been good for 2 goals. He doesn't get a lot around the ground, but he's 6'4". He's almost the size of Rewalt, like I mentioned to you before. So he can play big, but he doesn't generally do that. Dean Kent was one of our best forwards last week, 2, and I think he had 20 possessions. Gresh rests there. Billings is pushing there. That's another player that we haven't talked about, is how good Billings was last week and how good he's been most of this season. Do you think you'll tag any player on our team, or do you think it's just going to be more a head-to-head battle? Will someone tag Hanbury just to piss him off?
No one's going to tag Hanbury.
Billings?
It's more whether...
Will we focus on Billings? Who would go to Billings?
We're not going to tag Billings. It'll be who you tag, because Zorko's taggable. And
who's more damaging when they get the ball? Do you think Neale or Zorko?
Probably Zorko.
Yeah, I was thinking Zorko. I think he'd be the one to tag.
He is taggable. Neale hasn't been too bad. People have been able to curb his influence a little bit, but I think who's that with the dislocated kneecap?
Steele.
I think he's a bit of a loss
because he's a big loss.
Gets a lot of tackles and all that kind of pressure.
I think that's why Armitage has actually held a spot. I thought that Armitage was going to come straight out for Hanbury. That's what I thought all week. And then Hanbury comes in, and then you don't see Armo's name in the outs. I feel like they really value Armitage at the ball when the ball's on the inside, and that's what Steele has. And if we don't have Armitage, Hanbury's probably too early in his return to ask to get the hard ball. And then you've got Seb Ross, who doesn't really do it. Jack Billings, who doesn't really do it. Gresh does it to an extent. Dunstan's been a lead out of the last couple of weeks. He's been really good. But it would leave it to all that hard work to one player, whereas I think Armitage is expected. He doesn't need to get 40 possessions and get ball on the wing and get meters gained. It's like, just be tough, get the ball out to whoever's running past, and then that's your job, for the whole game. But if he rests forward, he could be pretty dangerous too.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting because I think the ruck is a big one.
The ruck's a
because
big
Rowan
one.
Marshall's he hasn't started. He has arrived, I think. He's
good
becoming
player.
a very good player. And it's not just, off the back of 1 or 2 games. It's off the back of, if you look at his stats, 4 or 5 in a row where he's had, 35 hit-outs, 20 possessions and kicked a goal and had 5 marks.
He'd be top 5 or 6 ruckman in the comp.
The last month? Or do you mean just in general right now?
In general this year.
Yeah.
He's got to improve his tap work a little bit and maybe being a bit more dangerous as a contested mark up forward.
I thought he did well against Wits.
But he did do well.
He got 40 hit-outs. I don't know how many Wits ended up with. I think it was less.
This is what we've talked about before. So Marshall does well individually, but you've got no one to back up. So Marshall will get the most tap-outs. And I think Wits only had 1 or 2 fewer. Yeah. But then, was it Sam Day? He had another 20
Sam Day had
another 20-odd taps. Yeah. So that's what happens with the Saints.
Yeah. I mean, you've got Martin.
Yeah. So
and the Big O. Will he rotate through?
He'll rotate a lot. See, towards the start of the year, he sort of gave a bit of a tap out a little bit. Yeah. Now he's sort of getting 20 taps and sharing it, 60-40 with Martin. It's
a big help when they can. Yeah. And like for us, it'd be a benefit to have another ruckman because we know Rowan Marshall's pretty good when he goes forward. He can take a mark. He's a good kick.
Yeah.
It's just that we don't have the luxury like other teams to do that.
Individually, he's better than either of our ruckmen.
I was going to say, is he the best ruckman on the ground in general?
He's gone past Martin. Yeah. Martin's been very good for 4 or 5 years, but I think he's slowing down. So Marshall's a better player than him now.
Could be a big part of the game.
Yeah, it's a matter of whether it's the ruck combination to me.
Yeah.
I'm happy that McInerney's come in because Smith was bad.
You called that last week. You said that Bailey Smith? Is it Bailey Smith? No, Archie Smith. Bailey Smith's the Bulldog player. Yeah. You said he wasn't that great. No. And I think he played the Carlton game. He wasn't a massive standout.
No, he wasn't great.
From like an opposite. Like I wasn't worried about him looking at him.
No.
I'm worried about Lockie Neal. I'm worried about Zorko. He sees taggable, and I think that's the player we want to tag.
Zorko's
He's more explosive. Yep. Whereas Neal he'll get 5 to 10 possessions each quarter all day, no matter what, really.
Yeah.
And it didn't look like Carlton were worried about him at all. They didn't tag him towards that end of the game. It was more just they let him have the ball, but they just kind of honed in on everyone else.
They were that far on top.
Yeah, it didn't matter. Yeah.
Zorko's he's probably the best pressure player in the comp this year in terms of tackles, pressure.
He's right up there. Tackles?
I think he is. He was for a long time.
Yeah.
Haven't checked recently, but he's right up there. So he's having a really good year. He can kick goals. I'd tag him if I were you. I don't know who you'd send to him.
Who could do a tag job? I mean, Steele's the one.
He's
not playing. Yeah. So, I mean, Hunter Clark's name has still not been talked about, but he's still in. So I don't know if he could get a job, but I think he's probably too junior for that.
I think so.
I think it might be a Dunstan or something.
Yeah.
He's just big. Dunstan's got a good tank.
He's not a good kick, is he, Dunstan?
No, but if you give him, I think he's the sort of guy that if you give him like that job, it's like, this is your man.
Exactly.
For the whole
give him
game.
the job.
Watch him and just tackle the shit out of him.
Yep.
Anytime he gets the ball. Dunstan's he gets a bit lost, like a deer in headlights when he has to go and find his own ball. But if you give him a target of like tackle the shit out of that guy, and if you get 10 possessions, but you get 15 tackles and you win us the game because you stopped their best player, their second best player, then you should be happy.
Yep. Actually, what you said before about Billings, who plays on Billings? Billings and McCluggage are an interesting comparison.
That could be exciting.
3 years difference, both number 3 draft picks. Both have been very good this year. Both good wingers.
Yeah. They play on each other?
Maybe, I don't know.
Who are the other wingers? Who have you got on the other wing?
Well, we've named McCarthy on the wing, but that's not going to happen.
He'll go forward.
Yeah, he'll go forward. Who else we got? I mean, Mitch Robinson could go on a wing. Allison would be another winger. He's quick. He's quite tall.
Yeah.
6'3". He wasn't too bad against Carlton.
I mean, most of that. I guess the thing I'm worried about is that when you lose badly to a shit team like Carlton. I mean, to be fair, then they've backed it up and played pretty well for most of the game against the Dogs, so it didn't show that it was just a one-off thing. It looks like they're under David Teague, they are getting a little better, but you're kind of on the rebound, but maybe the bye came at a good time for us.
I think it did.
Because it stopped that anger brewing. Like, we just want to get out the next week and make amends.
Yeah.
And I guess for us, we lost to Port and then we had the bye, so we couldn't do that. But we still got over the line. But we started slow against the Gold Coast. And I think most teams after the bye generally do start pretty poorly.
You haven't been in good form. You've got the job done enough. We
haven't lost to anyone that we were expected to beat.
No, you haven't had a poor loss. You haven't had a great win. Melbourne?
We were ridiculously good that day.
Yeah. Well, just in hindsight, looking at where they are on the ladder, you haven't beaten a top 8 side.
No.
So
we've beaten every team we've played that's below us, and we've beaten one above us.
Yep.
So that's not bad.
No.
It's not a bad ratio. If we can start picking off more of the ones above, including Brisbane, that goes a long way to us making a chance at playing finals.
Yep. Well, you've got to beat us to make finals. If you don't beat us, no finals.
If we beat you, we're going to the Richmond game the next week. Maddie's match. Richmond looking shit right now.
Yep.
I thought they were getting better, and then they just suddenly dipped again. It could be a good time to play Richmond.
That'd be a game.
And then we play North.
See, you've got an easy...
We've got a good 3 weeks here. And then we play Geelong. So if we can go two or... minimum, we're going to win 2, I think, out of the next 3. To have a chance, because then we play Geelong.
You'd have to win 2 to have a chance.
You scrape that one, you're like, no, that's a loss.
That's okay.
In Geelong. So 2 of the next 3 would be a goal, but 3 out of 3 and you're right in it.
3 out of 3.
You're in the 8 probably.
You would be,
going into
definitely.
The Geelong game. So it's big. It's a big game, guys. I'm so nervous. What do you think? Let's just cut the ball. Who wins and how much?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I know you're going to go. I know it's the battle of heart and head. The heart always says your team. What does the head say?
Okay, going into the Carlton game...
You thought you were going to lose.
I thought I was going to lose. I thought we were going to lose.
Yeah.
I just had that feeling of dread, gut feeling we were going to lose. You always get beaten by the team that ditches its coach.
Yeah.
I don't have that feeling this week. I'm not confident.
Do you think we're going to see...
I'm not even quietly confident.
Yeah, I think we're both in the same boat there.
I think when it gets down to it, I feel reasonably feel reasonably good about us winning. So I'll leave it at that.
I'm going to put your address in the comments and just have some people egg you later tonight. I honestly can't call it.
No.
I think this is almost close to match of the round. What else is on tonight?
It's a really
interesting game because no one knows what to expect from us. But with these 2 big ends, even if they don't really necessarily have big games, it could have a
Definitely.
domino effect, a positive effect on everyone else. Standing taller, they're like, Dan Hanbury's playing. And even with Hanbury, not being at his best, he won't be at his best. We know that.
No.
He takes another player. You know what I mean? He frees up a Seb Ross. He frees up Luke Dunstan or Billings even more. It's getting these players back that is really important for just rotation. And it can help just the coherency of the team. Knocking out
the last player into your 22 for Hanbury is big.
Is big.
St Kilda, I kind of feel like they've got a flat team talent-wise.
But if you look at then it's icing on the cake, I guess. It's Billings, it's Hanbury. I think Carlisle's nearly there. So you look at those. The next step is Stephen, but I don't think he comes back for a while.
I think St Kilda's got that sort of steady, mature, just professional cohort of players, whereas Brisbane's, we've got some A-grade talent. We've got some young A-grade talent. And then we've got that little bit, the Leicesters, the Nick Robertsons that drag us down a little bit, which is a bit harsh.
Do you think your lower tier is worse than our lower tier then, but your top tier is a bit better?
I think our top tier is a little better.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar enough with your team, to be honest, to judge.
When we look at it, Gresham will be A grade.
Who's your worst player?
Our worst player in this team, it would have to be, and I don't like saying this, but I think it would have to be, geez, that's a hard one. That's a good thing. I don't see a spud, but I think Jack Nunes had the worst game of anyone in this lineup last week, so I think he needs to have a big one. And then after that, Armitage probably just because of his age and he's been out and he's kind of forced into the team. I don't think he plays if other players are fit. He's just he's just there to kind of be that fix-it sort of guy. But when you look at it, you've got Parker, Clark, Hanbury, Akers on the bench. That's great. That's a good mix. You've got Marshall, Dunstan, Armitage in the middle. Gresham, Membry, Kent forward. Sinclair, Bruce, Hind, which is exciting. Nunes, Seb Ross, Jack Billings on the other wing. And then John O'Marsh, who's getting really good. He's got a lot of pace for a backman. Battles probably would be up there in the terms of rising star. I can't believe he hasn't been nominated yet, to be honest. Wilkie's been steady all season, one of the best pickups from mature age from any team. Savage is almost career best form. Carlisle, unknown. Mackenzie's been good. So when you look at it, there's not, on both sides, I don't think there's one player that doesn't deserve to be there.
No.
And I think that we might see a game like that where I think both teams are just going to go all. It's going to be like a final, I think.
Yep.
It is like a final. And who would have thought that?
Who would have thought that?
A year ago when both our teams were getting flogged and we were...
I went to our round 2 game against North Melbourne and we won. I couldn't believe we won 2 in a row. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So to be here
and
talking about finals
for both
is pretty good.
It's like it's good that both our teams. Like I'd hate you even more if they were even further on top. And you guys were in really good form. And what were you, 7-3 or something at one point? 7-4.
I think so.
So it's been a couple of hiccups lately. And we've just been we started on fire at 4-1, and we knew when we got that draw, GWS, Adelaide, West Coast, Collingwood all in a row, it was going to be hard, and that put us behind the 8 ball. But lately, I mean, maybe that second half against Gold Coast is more important than what we think. That turnaround. We were 31 points down. That's big.
You beat Gold Coast by 1 point in round 1, and then just scrape home then. So that's big.
That first half was the worst football we've played this season.
Yep.
And I see that a lot to do with just the recovery from Shanghai and coming in after the bye and being away from home and playing a team you probably expect to win. But the fact that we came out after halftime, there were serious changes with the lineup and how we played, and we outscored them by 8 goals or something, 9 goals, close to it, is good. That's a good turnaround. I mean, they're a poor team, but they've been, like we talked about it before we played Gold Coast, they've been okay against some good teams.
They have.
They did well against West Coast. They did well against North. They did well against Geelong.
They did. They showed that form.
They showed that form against us in that first half. They just couldn't hold it on. So I think that win's better than some people would give us credit for, just because we're St Kilda. If it was Collingwood down by 6 goals and they win, Collingwood show their class. They did the job. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just a different view on St Kilda versus most other teams.
People are finding it hard to read St Kilda, and that's fair enough.
So that's why they don't go overboard when we win. They don't really go crazy when we lose.
Yep.
I mean, they write articles about Richo getting the sack, but I think 6 wins from 12 games. What are we, 6 and 7 right now? 6 and 6. We're dead level.
Yep. He's
safe right now.
Yeah, he's got that trigger for next year being has to win a final. So
that's a big one. If we can, I'm not going to even go there, but my tip.
Just give us a tip.
Saints by 7.
Saints by 7.
I think it's going to be 93-100. I think it's going to be a goal fest. The roof's going to be shut Saturday Arvo, 4:30, 4:35. I think it's going to be an open game. I don't think we're going to see a low-scoring, contested game. Brisbane like it open.
Yep.
I think we play better when it's open. So I think we're going to see a lot of goals if we keep straight.
Yep. I think if you win, it'll be because you get in top in the middle.
Yeah.
So I reckon, sort of looking at someone like Lyons for us, if he plays a good game, I think it's a sign that we win. Just because he's one of those sort of fringe on-ballers, contested ball players. When he hasn't played well, it's showing that we haven't had the depth in that part of the ground and we've lost.
Yeah.
If he gets on top, then I think we're doing all right.
I think we win. I mean, most of our wins have been the same way. We have a 10-minute patch where we kick 5 goals, get some distance, and then we're done. We're never good for the whole game. Apart from the Melbourne game, that's why it was our best win, because we were good all day. I think you win if you're good just generally for the whole day.
Yep.
But I think we win if we have that burst in the third quarter and we get 2-3 goals up, and I think we get a bit of confidence. I think we got to forget the crowd's going to be heavy. I mean, Brisbane had a lot of fans at the Carlton game, but a lot of Saints fans, I think now we're going to start turning up because of Hanbury's news, because of Carlisle, because it's 6 and 6, and if we win, we're a chance to be close to bursting into the top 8. So I think it'll be a solid crowd for this. Good time as well.
Have you played a 4-quarter game this year?
Melbourne was it. That was like 4 goals a quarter, and we just blew them apart in the second half. Just wore them down.
Yep.
Collingwood, we played 3 or 4. We're always playing around 3 to 4. 2 to 3 quarters max. The Gold Coast, again, was 2 quarters and we won. I think we have to play close to a full game of just solid footy to win.
That's what I think you can do. Brisbane, we haven't played a full 4 quarters this year.
Do you think even if we're not playing our best, we'll just be a bit better, and like you said, we're a bit more mature, we just know how to just kind of calm things down a bit better? Whereas Carlton got on top and you guys just went to shit. Just started panicking. The mistakes that I saw were mistakes I haven't seen us make.
No,
just in terms of how many missed kicks out of defence you had.
I think we've improved to the point where we can turn that around. We were like 29 points down at quarter time against West Coast, round 1.
Hawthorn, we won down by a lot.
Port came back hard against us, and we were up with a few minutes to go, and we came back hard. So I don't think that's a pattern, what happened against Carlton.
Yeah.
Fucking knows.
Let's go through some of the comments first. Let's see what some people think, what you reckon. Jess Brown says, come on, Hannah's is an extra 20 to 30 possessions. Carlisle stops at least 2 to 3 more goals. Our inside 50s are pretty good. If we kick goals and start well, we will win by 47 or more. That's ambitious.
That's ambitious.
Oh, if we win by 47, I'm not going to continue that sentence because there'll be some nudity involved. Live video naked? No, that's not happening. Let's go through. Why can't we get Gresh to kick 11 like Milne?
Let's not do that.
Were you at that game?
No.
When Milne kicked 11 by 139, which is the worst loss in your history and the biggest win we've ever had against anyone.
I wasn't at that game. I was at the game with you.
With me?
Was I? No.
I
was with someone else. Sorry.
Me.
Bloody Rewald kicked.
Oh, he kicked 9.
9.
And that was like...
Daniel Merritt's last game.
Yeah. And we won. That was like both teams kicked over 120 points or something. It was a really high-scoring game. I remember that. It was a good win. That's another thing we haven't raised. You haven't beaten us in Melbourne
since what,
since 2006. Oh no, before 2006.
It's been a long time.
It's been over 14 years since Brisbane has beaten St Kilda at Docklands.
In Melbourne.
Yeah.
Oh, at Docklands.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've broken a few records this year. Could be another one, but it's just something.
Adelaide.
All your losses have been away from home. All of them, haven't they?
I think we lost
Except Collingwood.
We lost to Collingwood,
but the rest have been, the most recent ones have been. That was your first loss of the year, wasn't it? No, Essendon was. And then Collingwood, and then you've lost.
We've only beaten North away this year.
And that was at Marvel.
Yep.
Yeah. So we can swing Carlisle forward if needed now. We lose that depth. Do you think at any chance we'll see Jake Carlisle go forward, considering your forward line, or do you think we can't do that possibly? Like, if we move Carlisle out of the back line, will that hurt us against your forward line? Or do you think there's a chance that we can see that?
Well, who moves back?
That's a good question.
I think you could throw him forward.
It wouldn't be for extend. It would only be for a quarter or two, wouldn't it?
Andrews would match up well on him because he's so tall. But at least we're on the few teams that have a 202 centimetre backman to go to him. So maybe it's not worth it. I don't know.
Who's this flog with a lion scarf?
I knew it was going to happen. But...
Play nice. He's one of the nicer ones. They're all pretty nice. They're pretty modest. It's been a long time since those premierships, so
it has been.
That the glory's kind of been. It's just gone.
Yeah.
Do you watch the replays of some of those?
I don't.
You don't go on YouTube and just watch them?
I don't.
Watch it after his prime?
I
would do that all the time.
Yeah.
I do it now and we didn't win anything. So. Armo is in. Brown isn't. Brown has been doing okay. Brown very stiff. Thoughts on Nathan Brown out? I think Brown being out is a little stiff. I thought he was okay last week, although I think when you look at his first half against Ben King was all over him in that first half. And Ben King's young, he's mobile, very similar to Hipwood, and Hipwood's more mature and he's been in the game longer, so he's better. Hipwood on Brown would be a massive worry.
Yeah.
I don't think he's mobile enough. And I think that's the key. Do you think this is more tactically why Brown was dropped?
Probably.
And just to find a way to get Carlisle in, as opposed to him being in poor form and omitted. I don't think he was omitted. I think it's more just like we think Carlisle's probably ready, and based on the forward line of Brisbane, not a game we want to play in.
I don't mind Brown. I think he's been a decent player.
Premiership player, isn't he?
Premiership player,
yeah.
I don't know. I think he gets a little bit of unfair flack.
Yeah.
To be honest, but
no, I think we'll see him.
Just a matchup.
Yeah. Michael says massive ins for us in terms of experience, so give us a big chance this week, providing our skills. Ball use inside 50 and kicking for goal is at least half decent. I think that's one thing that a lot of stats prove is that we're getting as much in terms of forward 50 entries as any other team, and we're getting close to as many shots on goal as the top 4 teams, and we're just not converting. Last week in the first half, we didn't convert. Second half, we kicked straight. We kicked 10-4 or something in the second half, and that, there's no two ways about it. If you kick straight, you probably win most games than you don't. And Geelong currently are going at a record of more goals than points in every game they've played this season. And they're top of the ladder, and they've won all their games except one to GWS. It's no coincidence that if you kick straight, you win. So I think that if we're on top, the problem is going to be just getting over those goal-kicking demons, because if we have a 10-minute patch where, we have 10 inside 50s really quickly, repeat entries, and we've got your defence under shitloads of pressure, and Bruce is taking mark after mark and he's missing goal after goal, it's always going to turn around. It's always going to turn around.
Oh, man, we've been shit out at kicking as well. Daniel McStay is hit or miss, mostly miss. People's been the same.
I think there were a few bad misses against Carlton, to be fair, before the tide turned, and they basically kicked straight that whole second half. I can't remember. Cripps kicked 4 straight. They're kicking from everywhere. So I think kicking straight's a big thing for us. I love Carl. I hope he plays well. I can't wait to see how Dan goes. Looking forward to getting back to Marvel on Saturday. Any news on Stuv? No news. Sadly, no news on Jack Stephen. Do you think he plays for St Kilda next year?
Yes.
Jeff Stevens? I think he'll be there?
Yeah.
I think he will. I think a lot of people are overreacting to all this Geelong news, but I think that the club's really supported him this season, and it'd be an absolutely terrible act if he just turned around, took more money, went to, a better team, to be fair. But
he's a really good player.
I think he wants to be a one-man team. I think he wants to stay at St Kilda.
One club player. No, he's a good player. He'll stay.
The last news that isn't related to this game is the Caniglio news.
Yes.
The supposed $1.4 million deal for 6 years or whatever it is he's in career best form. He's probably top 5 mids in the game right now. He's GWS' best player. He's been better than Kelly, and he's been better than a lot of their other mids that have played through there. Do you think there's a chance that, we had money like that with Dylan Shield. There were a lot of offers that we supposedly put out last year. Do you think it's really important for us to finish the season strong to convince players like him that, hey, they're not terrible. They're not great, but there's an opportunity. And that's a lot of money. Apparently that's $200,000 to $300,000 more than most teams are willing to offer. It's a lot of money.
If you can sell him hope, that's a big thing. He's gone through GWS and their growth, so you don't want to leave while they're coming good.
Do you say they win the premiership this season? Do you think he's more likely to leave than if they don't?
Maybe.
Leave on top. He's done his job, move to a new challenge.
He might feel more comfortable going to a team a little bit further down the ladder.
Less pressure.
I think you can finish strongly and sort of, he'll see that you've got a future. Do
you think both our teams make finals? But then let's say we fast forward 10 weeks. Let's end it on this. In 10 weeks' time, are Brisbane in the top 8?
I hope so.
What do you think?
If we beat St Kilda, I'll say that we will.
You'll relax and start playing.
Yeah. Because we do have some winnable games coming up. And we've got some games at the Gabba. So I think if we beat St Kilda, we will. If we lose, we won't. And if we beat you think we can get some confidence, get some players back? Do you think there's a chance? There's a chance. Draw. We've got the easiest draw. I think statistically, we've got the easiest draw out of any team. I think there's a chance, and I think you're a chance against Richmond. North after that. We can look at it now, but
we've gone through it.
Yeah.
We've gone through that. You know, the only two games that we've said aren't really a big chance of winning is Geelong and Adelaide and Adelaide. And the rest are all Fremantle and Melbourne. We've got Carlton again. We've got Bulldogs again. We've got Sydney, North, Richmond, Brisbane.
Yep.
There's a run. You know, we could put a good patch together, win 4 or 5.
I think you're good enough to do it.
Yeah.
It's just consistency.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it there. Well, I don't think we've really decided on who's going to win this game. Really?
I just don't want to go to the game.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel like shit the entire game.
If we're 10 goals down at halftime, I'm probably moving to a different section of Etihad.
I'll follow.
I'll marvel. I'll go to the cheer squad and they can cheer me up. Sing some of those chants. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed having Murray. You're going to be on the review, possibly?
I think so, yeah.
Depending on, even if you lose badly?
No, even if he lose badly, I'll do it.
All right. You'll see him on Saturday after the game, guys. Thanks for watching. Keep your comments coming and we'll respond when I can. Thanks, guys. Go Saints, not Lions.